Good evening, all. This is GEG Darjeeling. Today, our 10th PD session. শুভ সন্ধ্যা সবাইকে জানাই শুভ নববর্ষের অনেক অনেক শুভেচ্ছা নতুন বছর ভালো কাটুক সবার Today our topic is qualitative data analysis with Google Sheet. আমরা এটা জানি যে আমরা প্রতিনিয়ত প্রত্যেক দিন আমাদের হিউজ পরিমাণে ডেটা হ্যান্ডেল করতে হয় সেটা কিছু কোয়ান্টিটেটিভ ডেটা এবং কিছু কোয়ালিটেটিভ ডেটা কোয়ালিটেটিভ ডেটা অ্যানালিসিসের অনেক মেথড রয়েছে কিন্তু সেইগুলো খুব সহজে খুব ইজিলি কিভাবে করা যেতে পারে সেটা আজকে আমাদের মধ্যে যিনি সেশন এক্সপার্ট আছেন অভিজিৎ মুখার্জি তিনি আজকে এই সেশনটি নিয়ে দেখাবেন সো লেট আস ইন্ট্রোডিউস মিস্টার অভিজিৎ মুখার্জি co-leader of GEG Darjeeling, Google Certified Educator Level 1 and Level 2. We are very happy to hear you all. So let us start today's session, Google Sheet, Qualitative Data Analysis. Over to Abhijit Mukherjee, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Shishmita Ghosh, our founder leader of GEG Darjeeling. Thank you for introducing me in such good words. Actually, what we'll be doing today is that we will be trying to analyze qualitative data collected through Google Forms and derive some results from it. As our founder leader Shishmita ma'am just said, quantitative data is very easy to identify and represent through charts and graphs. But qualitative data, when collected for various reasons, say to conduct any survey or to take stock of any situation in our day-to-day school activities, such data comes is generally presented or collected in qualitative terms. Such qualitative data, if we want to analyze them, we first must know how to convert them in terms of certain numbers or in quantitative terms. Now let me share a short presentation with you all that I have just created for today's evening. Now, administrators, heads of institutions, researchers, all of us, I am an administrator myself. I know we have to work with such qualitative data in our day-to-day affairs. I am a head of institution, and many times a week, often twice or thrice a week, I have to send data through Google Forms, data that has been asked to be submitted by me from my superior authorities. They ask us to submit data on anything and everything that is happening in our school. Status of UDIs, status of vaccination amongst of the students, status of midday meal, status of textbook distribution, etc., etc. Anything and everything is collected through Google Forms. Now, such data, when is collected at the district level or even at the state level, becomes huge. Say, for example, in my district, in my educational district, there are 400 plus schools. So, when such data comes from from the schools of the district, such 400 plus data in a Google Sheet, such data becomes huge for someone to manage. That data needs to be sorted, that data needs to be filtered, and that data needs to be quantitatively represented in order to draw some conclusions or fix the status or determine the present status of the various affairs running in our schools. Now, Google Sheets provide us with certain inherent features. We can use those features and analyze or prepare the data for analysis. Let me first show you a demonstrative data set that have been created by me for this evening's session. I might remind you all, to all our viewers and those who will be viewing this later on YouTube, that this data set that I'll be sharing with you is totally fictitious. The names that have been used in the data set and other details are completely made up by me. None such characters or institutions exist in reality. So there is no chance of disclosure of any data of an institution. That I can guarantee you all. Now let us go to a data set that has been created by me for today's evening. This data set, uh, I think it is visible to all. This data set has been created by me. As you can all see, this data set has a few rows and columns. I have taken 10 rows for today's evening and 7 or 8 columns. I have segregated the data in district, name of the school, school category, name of the head of the institution, his or her designation, and status of the UDICE class, whether they have completed it or the work is yet to be started or whether the work is in progress. And for those who are yet to complete, a question was asked regarding the reason for incomplete UDIs. That reason for incomplete UDIs, obviously, we can judge from the response gathered in this Google sheet, that the reasons for incomplete UDIs was collected through a question which had multiple checkboxes to choose from. So many have chosen all the options available, and some have chosen one or two of those options. So this is basically a sample data set with which I'll be working this evening. Now, this data set, what I would advise, or rather, what I first propose to do is that first let me sort this data set. Whenever I'm working, so to enable our viewers to gauge what the functionalities of this Google Sheet, I have taken a small data set. This, whatever I say today, is obviously applicable to data sets of any size. I have personally worked with data sets that range to 700 or 800 rows, 750, 780 rows I have worked with, and and 50 columns. I have worked with those data set and I have applied the same technique that we'll be discussing this evening. And believe me, the results have come out splendid. Now, in this data set, what I do is that I first apply the sort function. Many of you who have had the opportunity of viewing our first session on Google Sheet know what is sort, but still I'm showing you all. Now, to work with any data set, what I do is first I select any cell, any field cell. For example, I choose here C3. C3 is a field cell. I just select C3 and press Ctrl A on my keyboard. Whenever I do that, all the field cells, all the cells that is covered in the table are selected automatically. Ctrl A. Just remember to select any field cell and press Ctrl A. Then my data set is ready to, or rather active, to be worked with. I now go to data and select this sort range. Under the sort range, I select this advanced range sorting options. Google is asking me whether I am ready to sort the range A1 to G11. That is the range of my data. I accept, yes, I am going to sort that range of data. But yes, I also select. Now, it is again asking me whether I want to sort by any particular column or not. I don't remember exactly which columns were there because they are now half filled or half visible on the screen. They are not fully visible on the screen. So what I do is that I check this box. Yes, my data has a header row. Whenever I select this, see, it initially which was column A has now changed into a name, the district, the first name of the column, the first name on the column. I use this arrow button. All the options are visible now, as and the every order they were on the header row. Name district, name of the school, school category, name of the head of institution, designation, standard or status of erase plus, reason for incomplete. These were the header, headings or heads of the columns used in my data set. So suppose I choose yes, I want to sort by the district. A to Z or Z to A. Generally, we choose A to Z. Google is asking me whether I want to add another sorting column. Yes, I can add another sorting column. Now, is suggesting that okay, you have selected district for the first selection, first sort, second sort. What do you wish? Name of the school or anything else? I can choose. We can choose name of the school, or we can choose anything else. Destination, status, reason, etc., etc. Suppose I choose name of the school, because in this sorting, what happens is that all the data that is in my data set gets sorted according to the districts, and then the name of the schools will appear alphabetically. In this way, it will be easier for us to identify any particular school later on also. After completing our work, we can identify the school by just going to the particular district and then searching coming down alphabetically. I then press this sort option. See, the schools are sorted. The name of the school districts are sorted. Kolkata, 4 schools from Kolkata were there. 3 schools from North 24 Parganas were there, and 3 schools from South 24 Parganas were there. Previously, they were all strewn haphazardly. Now they have been arranged in alphabetical order. First, the name of the districts. Kolkata comes first, then North 24 Parganas, then South 24 Parganas. And in Kolkata, you see, I have just I had just selected the names so that it will be easier for us to identify whether they are sorted alphabetically or not. See, they are alphabetically sorted. ABC High School, BMDGS High School, Dum Dum School, FG High School, etc., etc. A, B, D, F. In North 24 Parganas, 2 schools are of the same, starts with S. Now the second letter is selected. This we all know, the sorting rule. Now after the data has been sorted, we can do what? We can add a filter to this data. What is filter? Filter means Google is first showing us the whole data. Now I don't want to view the whole data. I want to view only certain parts or portions of the data that I can select using the filter view option. I can either go to the data and create a filter, or I can go to this symbol here only, this small inverted triangle, filter views. There is a small downward arrow beside it. I press it and the option is given. Google offers me that option of creating a new filter view. I click on that. See, the filter view option comes. Just a second. Okay, what I did was that I forgot to select the data. I have to select the data once again, then go to the filter view, create a new filter view. Yes. Now see, against every column, is the name of every heading an inverted triangle of this sort, this thing appears. Whenever I press this, see, all the options under it are shown. I have three districts, the three districts are shown here. I have school categories, two categories of school. Those two categories are shown here. I have two categories of heads of institutions, headmasters and teacher in charges. They are shown here. Status of UDIs, there are three categories: completed, in progress, not started. All are shown here. For example, if I select this, let me select this status of UDIs. I want to create a filter view which will show me names and other details of all those schools whose UDIs is completed. These schools, they have completed their task, that is submission of UDIs plus. That is the task. So here you can see on my uh, on my screen that the three options completed, in progress and not started are being selected. A green tick appears beside them. Now if I just say that no, I don't want to select, I don't want to select any of them, what I can do is that I can just click on this clear, then all the selections will be removed. I say that okay, I want the list of those schools who have finished their task. That means I select completed, then I say okay. You see, previously there were 10 schools, now only 1 2 3 4, only 4 schools are here. These schools have completed their task, that is submission of UDIs. So I can name them. See, on the left hand side of my side of my of the task of the screen, there is a name. I can name them. Completed, and I click on the cross. So now whenever I go to this filter view once more, I will see a filter has been created, completed. A filter has been created, completed. And when I press that, the names of those schools who have completed the task will appear. This set will remain. This set will remain. This set
Sorry
will.
to interrupt you, sir.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Um, sir, this filter view sheet can be
Uh-huh.
visible in the same spreadsheet?
Uh, Whenever I click on this filter view
Yes.
and select this completed, it will appear. What we can do is that we can copy this sheet,
So it remains in the same sheet.
same sheet. We can
Yes.
also do one thing is that we can copy this sheet and take it to a new sheet. That way,
Okay.
that will remain. But this, the magic of this thing is that this, whenever this filter view, if we keep this filter view, whenever
Mm-hmm.
the status of any school changes,
Mm-hmm.
that it will be automatically shifted to that filter view portion.
Okay, that change
That
can be
change is
shown in
also
the.
automatic. Yes,
Yes.
yes. So this is what automatically saved. Because this is the magic of Google Sheet. Everything is saved in the drive. Whenever we select the data, it is saved in the drive. It will never get erased from the drive. Okay.
Thank
Now,
you, sir.
thank you, ma'am. Now, what we can do is that we can also preserve a data, just as ma'am just told me, asked me just a moment ago. Yes, we can do one thing is that we can create, select a few of the data from this set and take it to a new sheet by using an option known as pivot table. For that, I select my whole data set. Again, go to data, sorry, go to insert and select this pivot table. What is pivot table? Acha, first let me select this, just let me select this. Yes, I want to create a pivot table, and yes, I want to insert to a new sheet. I create. What is pivot table? Pivot table is a tool provided by Google Sheets which enables me to break down the data presented in the main sheet into small sheets. You can say it is a sheet within a sheet, a Google Sheet presentation within a Google Sheet presentation. I am creating a small Google Sheet from a larger data set. I am creating a small data set from a larger data set, and this small data set that I am creating is gives me tremendous freedom. I can literally select each and every aspect of that large data set and create small presentations from there. Like, for example, I can add in rows, sorry, I can add in the rows the name of the districts, schools, school categories, and all those heads that were present, that were available to me. For example, I select district. See, the name of the districts appear here: Kolkata, North 24 Parganas, South 24 Parganas. Then I go to columns. I say that I want to select, say, um, uh, the schools on the school category. Since I have selected, I have taken district as the row, I cannot take, see, let me just come back once more. I have selected district as the row. So for the columns, I won't be getting that option. I won't be getting that option. So I select the next option, that is school category. There were two categories of school, high and high secondary. Let me do one thing. Select this date sheet. Go to format. Select this wrapping and wrap. So my data is visible now, totally visible now to all my viewers. And I'm a bit fastidious about this. Let me do one thing. Is that select it once more. Give some borders. It will make them look nice. Select the three rows, and then on from these three dots, align them centrally. Okay. Now, I have selected district and school category. For values, for values, let me say I am recreating that thing, status of UDICE plus, or sorry, I have already I have say let uh, since I have selected school category here, I have to select name of the school as values. Now let me explain this thing once more. The rows and columns, I am free to choose. I can choose anything and everything for rows and columns. Now, when I choose values, I must select only those values which corroborate to the to my selection of the rows and columns. I have to select something, some value that has been that has both with it name of this district and name of the school category, or else my data set will be incomplete. I cannot choose something which has blank cells as values. I must choose those things which are filled, which everyone has given an option against. For example, name of the school. Every school has given its name, so I choose values as name of the school. So this data set, I have created a smaller data set from the previous data set. Here only I can see which category schools are covered in my survey from each district. For example, Kolkata, there are 4 schools from Kolkata. 4 of them are high schools. 3 schools of North Chব্বিশ Parganas, and of them one is high and two two are higher secondary schools. All the 3 schools from South 24 Parganas are higher secondary schools. So this thing is a pivot table. I have just used this option to reduce that large data set into a smaller data set. What I can do once more is that I can insert a chart with this data. I select the district column, the high and high secondary column, and the 3 rows here of the 3 districts, and go to insert and insert a chart. This is a column chart. I prefer this percentage charts. I prefer this 100% this 100% stat column charts. They give me a percentage value, and obviously in analysis or in analysis we use, in research cases we use these percentage values. See, 33% of the schools of North 24 Parganas are high schools. 100% of the schools of Kolkata are high schools, and 100% of the schools of South 24 Parganas are high secondary schools. Now, if I go back to my original data, this was my original data. Suppose uh, a new row is added here. Suppose a new, what happened? Let me uh, imagine a situation, hypothetical one. I have been assigned to work with this data set, and as I was working, few additions were made. Now, how to incorporate those additions? How to incorporate within my analysis those additions made in the data set? Let me show you that. Simple. Suppose 2 new rows are added. One from Kolkata, school X. This is a, say, higher secondary school headed by Mr. A. Yes, he is the headmaster. And yes, they have completed their dice. So reason for not completion doesn't arise. And say, suppose another school from South 24 Parganas. Yes, this is school A. Okay. Okay. School Z. Yes, it is a high school. And yes, it is headed by B. Oh, there is a B. Y. And yes, she is a teacher in charge. It is in progress. And suppose there's shortage of staff. Just let me copy this and put it here. Now 2 new rows are added here. See, 2 new rows are added here. Whenever I do Control A, you see on this left corner, my data set has extended to G13, A1 to G13. That is very important. A1 to J13. I don't require to go to the end of the data set. I can just see it from here. A1 to G13. I go to my pivot table, click on my pivot table, and I again click on this pivot. Let me just remove, for the time being, shift it here down. I go to my pivot table. I go to the pivot table editor and see this is the selected data range. I click on that. Google is very clever. It has noted that I have made two rows of additions in my data set. And it is suggesting me, okay, Mr. Abhijit, you are working with A1 to G11 right now, right? Okay. This pivot table is from A1 to G11, but we have noticed that you have increased or added two more rows. A1 to G13 is now there. Do you want to include those two rows? I said, yes, obviously, why not? Then I select this thing and I press OK. See, my data set changes. And as I accept that suggestion, as I increase my selection, my pivot table changes, and so does this chart that I had previously prepared using this pivot table. I didn't have to do anything. Google is smart enough to bring all those additions to my to my to my work. It has
So all
detected.
the changes has reflected here,
Yes,
right, sir?
all the changes has been reflected in this chart. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. All the changes that has been made in the original data set is reflected in this chart. And the beauty of this chart is that, yes, I can do one thing. I can download this chart as PNG or PDF. Obviously, after downloading, no such changes can be reflected here. I can publish the chart with a shareable link. I can copy the chart and paste it on any Google Sheet or on any Google Doc or any Google slide also for presentation. And there too also I can share. For example, I can just copy this chart, go to my drive. Uh, can you all see my drive? It is taking a
Yes,
bit.
sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, yes. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. I can just select a Google slide. I can select a Google slide. On this Google slide, for example, just on this Google slide, I can paste whenever. Okay, see, I try to paste that chart on this Google slide. Google is asking, what do you want to do? Link to the spreadsheet or paste unlinked? I say that yes, I want to link and paste. That chart will come and see. An update button is there. Update from untitled spreadsheet. Yes, I want to update it. And every time I make the changes in that original spreadsheet, that those changes will be reflected in this slide also, right? Acha, let me, so far, any questions, any of our viewers, any questions? Good. Am I been able to explain all that
Yes, sir.
whatever
Yes, sir.
question?
The things are
Clearly.
clear.
Yes,
Thank
yes.
you.
May I ask one thing, ma'am? The one who is the host over here, GEG Darjeeling. Ma'am, can you please share the link of the recording after the session because I missed the initial few minutes. So, just to
Of
link
course,
everything.
ma'am. Of course.
Okay,
We'll
so
share
should
it
I share
in.
my email ID on the chat?
Actually, we have our YouTube channel, and we can share it in our channel, YouTube GG Darjeeling.
Okay, okay.
You can
Okay,
find
so
me.
you'll be sharing it in the group, and then from their WhatsApp group, I can look into it.
Of course.
Okay,
Of
thank
course.
you, ma'am.
Let me just okay. Okay. Everything that we do today evening, ma'am, Ekta ma'am, if I may just add to whatever the founder leader said, everything that we'll be doing and all our previous activities are all shared in our YouTube channel, and I'll be
So, can you
sharing
tell me
this.
the name of the YouTube channel?
I'll be sharing this slide. Just you
Okay,
can just that is YouTube. Our Google site is there.
okay,
GEG Darjeeling India. If you go to there, you
it's
can
fine,
find
fine.
all the
Okay,
recordings.
thank
Okay. Okay. Now, where was I? Okay. Acha. This is a pivot table. I've shown you sorting. I've shown you pivot tables. I've shown you filter views. Mm, I've I haven't shown you the filters to it. How to add filters. Suppose I wish to insert another pivot table here. Yes. Now see the data range has been changed A1 to G13, but the last two are just dummy data. So I can either take it or I can leave it. Okay. So for the time being, I'm just leaving it. I'm taking my original data set. And yes, I want to create a new pivot table. For rows, I select district. For columns, I select the designation of the heads of the institutions. And for values, I say status of UDICE plus. Now I can okay, just let me make it big and easy for all of us to see. I just take the wrap option. Okay, just just make let me make them horizontally aligned. Right, right. It becomes easier for us to follow the chart. I feel so. Okay. Now I have taken the status of the UDICE. Now, which status I say? I add the filters now. Status of UDICE, there were three status: completed, in progress, not started. So I just let me clear my selection and select here in progress, or sorry, rather negative one, not started, and okay. See, this is the status of the schools who have not yet started preparing or their work with the UDICE Plus. This is a filter that I have added. Previously, in my first pivot table, I took all the schools. I didn't add any filter. I took all the schools. But now I can select, I can give filters. I can even I can even select one item or two item filters. Just as I did with the filter view at the very beginning of my session, I inserted filters. I can also do the same thing with pivot table. Same task, two ways. The magic of using pivot table is that it becomes shorter, it becomes easier for us to manage, and obviously easier for us to create charts from them. Now, this is let me go to this portion now. This reason for incomplete UDIs. See, the data given here is mixed and separated by columns. For example, K. Datto says that yes, his or her school couldn't complete UDIs plus because he or she has problems like shortage of staff, admission still going on, and technical problems. BN Maiti says shortage of staff is the main problem for him or her not completing UDIs plus. So there are people who are selecting only technical problems, only shortage of staff, and there are people who are selecting all the three of them. Now, how to do, what to do, how to segregate this data? How to segregate this data? Just let me click this thing. Okay, I have selected G, column G. I go to data and select the last option here, split text to columns. I select it. And this is very important. I select this separator. It is selected, detected automatically. No, I want to segregate the data according to the comma. Yes, now my data is segregated. It is divided into 3 columns. 3 separate columns have been created against that single column for reason for incomplete UDIs. Now what I do now next is that I create a sheet. I go to an additional sheet here, and from the old original data set, I select the reasons for completing for incomplete UDIs plus. I just select all the options. Just remember G2 I13. I can either remember that or I can again come back here. I leave this thing. I use this function, see, equal to unique open inverted open bracket flatten open bracket, and I go and select this set. Then close the 2 brackets. See, the options that they were in these 3 columns, technical problems, shortage of staff, admission process still going on, not applicable, they have been sorted here. Technical problem, not applicable, shortage of staff, admission process still going on, and this blank, because there were certain a few blanks, this blank, I will come back to this blank later on. These were the options offered by the respondents of that on whom the survey was conducted. And those respondents came from 3 districts. First was Kolkata. I use this Control C and Control V options here just so that the names of the districts are not changed, because for the next function, next activity, if the names of the districts are changed, it will not be completed. Google is not that smart. It has its limitations also. Okay. I
Sorry
just
to
select.
interrupt you, sir.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Sir,
ma'am.
Tomal sir has raised his hand.
Oh, please, 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 please. Sorry, sorry, sorry.
Yes, sir.
Yes, yes, yes,
So
yes.
in that
Yes.
particular, in that last section, you have mentioned that when you have multiple types of options, you can use that separator. But in
Mhm.
in case of long answer, like when it will be not a kind of short answer, but it will be a long answer with different kind of criteria. For example, someone elaborated that particular point, why that UDI's code hasn't been, why that UDI's program hasn't been completed in 2 3 criteria, like I have this kind of
Yeah,
stuff, this kind of stuff.
I got it, Thomas sir. I got it, Thomas sir. You are
Right.
saying that in
So
case of open-ended questions, in case of
yes,
open-ended questions, yes, in case of open-ended questions,
can we use
what?
separator?
No, 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 no,
All right.
no. It has these separators can be used only for those questions which use multiple checkboxes.
All right.
And in case of long answer questions, someday we can to conduct an advanced session on Google Forms where
All right.
where we can you can say uh, discuss how we can use the function where keywords used in those long sentence answers are selected, and that question or that response gets evaluated. Keyword selection is possible in Google Forms, but
Okay.
Or we can do one thing, though I have not tried yet. We can just code that sentence or code that the long answer. By coding them, we can shorten the answer, like whatever the answer is, we can code it with A or B. So we can find out that solution.
Ma'am, ma'am,
Yes.
if individuals will be giving long answers and they have their kind of criteria.
it is very difficult. It is very difficult for coding such answers. We can do, yes, Tamal, Tamal sir, your voice is breaking. Hello,
Hello. Can't get you, sir.
Tamal sir.
Yes, we can't get you, Tamal
Ma'am,
sir.
yes, Tamal sir, yes, we are here.
No. Okay.
Okay, now what we can do is that, ma'am, we can uh, okay, let me go back to this thing now for the time being, and we can someday discuss on that
Yes, yes, yes.
part.
Of course, of
Sure.
course.
Okay, now I can write the names, or I can do one thing, I can use this function. The same thing will happen. See, I can write the control C, control V, I can write the names, or I can use this function here equal to, you can say, I use transpose uh, unique and go back to my first column under the district. If I do this thing, I think I will reach the same result. See, transpose unique, and just I give the selection of the district's name. It will come together. If the names are, if there's a long list of names, it will be difficult for me to search and select each of them. So I can use this function here. Next, what I can do is that I want to count the number of schools from Kolkata who have said or cited technical problem to be one of the reasons, mind you, not the only reason, one of the reasons for incomplete UDIs. So I select here equal to COUNTIF filter, select the range, go back to sheet 1, select the whole range from here to, I select the whole range, and what I do is that I insert the dollar symbols here, insert a dollar here, insert a dollar here, just to make the data set fixed. In case of huge data sets, this is very important, or else my data set can get lost. Next, I select the first column, the districts, name of the districts against which I am making the selection. Again, I select, I insert the dollar signs in between just to make sure that the data set is not um, missed. Equal to
So why are we adding dollar sign?
I just told you, ma'am. So to ensure that the data selection is not lost, I will just show you what happens if I do not choose them. Now, after that, I select the name of the district B1. See, I have to select B1, then C1, then D1. So this one will be constant. In case instead of B, I'll be selecting column C or column D. So I use B $1 and close the bracket, comma, and then the first option. In case of option also, I have to select all those options under the column A, either A2 or A3 or A4. So A is constant, 2, 3 will change. So I insert the dollar sign in front of A, close brackets, and yes, I get my first number. This number 3 is 3 schools of Kolkata who have selected technical problem as one of the reasons for not incomplete dice. Ma'am, you just asked me, somebody just asked me why I am using the dollar signs. The dollar signs are used so that the selection of the cells are not altered with whenever I drag. For example, now I have to drag this. I have to drag this formula all over the. If see, it is a small data set. It is a small data set. It is 3 by 3. Had there been 6 or 7 options, and there have been 20, 25 districts to choose from, if such a big data set was there, it would be impossible for me, nearly impossible for me to write down or type the formula every time for every cell. What I do is that what we do generally, we just drag it. So in case of while I am dragging it, the selections should be intact and not altered. The
And
dollar
also
sign,
for the
yes.
absolute value, the dollar sign, the dollar symbol uses for the absolute value of the cell
Hmm.
or column or row. So it does not change the sale. If sale changes, the value will not change.
Hmm. But
So we
all these
use
are
the,
descriptive values, ma'am. So
yes.
absolute values. Uh,
No, dollar
hmm,
dollar sign is used for that reason,
hmm,
that the value of the cell or
hmm, hmm,
the
hmm,
row column
hmm,
is
hmm.
fixed.
Fixed, yes, yes, yes.
Yes,
The
is
fixed
fixed.
is fixed, yes, right. That is told. Now, say there is one blank and 0. As I told you earlier, just because they were in my original data set, there were some blank response. There were some blank responses. Sorry, sorry. There were some blanks. This cell was blank. This cell was blank. There were a few blanks. So those selections have also been included in my table. Let me just hide this row. Just simple, I hide this though. I need not delete it, clear it. I just hide this row. Select all of them and insert a chart. If I insert a chart, I can change. As I said earlier, let me choose this thing now for the time for this one. Yes. Now, this is a complete presentation of that row, that column, of column under reason for incomplete UDIs for column G. This is the final presentation of that column G. These percentages of schools from each of the districts are facing technical problems, shortage of staff, admission process still going on. Now I can do one more thing. Let me see. Let me see if I can show it to you here. If I can go to edit the chart, see, again I can select, no, sorry, this is not, I can do, okay, this is under customize. Yes, I can change the names. I can just change the names. Say I write district wise status of UDIs plus. Okay. I can change the name of the charts from here. And this is my complete. This will complete the presentation for today. If anyone has any question, I'll be welcoming them. For now, thank you. Thank you, Shushmita ma'am, for.
Thank you, Abhijit sir. It has been a wonderful session today. So thank you so much. And here our guests. Thank you all. Nirupama ma'am, are you there?
Yes.
Would you like to say something?
Yeah, I really enjoyed the session a lot. Yeah, so yeah, so throughout the presentation time, no, I was really very watchful and
Thank you, ma'am. Hope me present in English helped you in this evening. Thank you, ma'am.
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Nice presentation. So we'll be back next few weeks. Then our topic will be new topic. Please stay tuned with us and visit our website and follow our YouTube channel. Thank you, guests.
Okay, ma'am, the things which had been told in today's session, was it applicable for the level 2 or will it also be in level 1 exam?
Actually, we both covered
yes.
both.
Let me answer this.
Yes,
Question,
yes,
ma'am.
yes,
Let me answer this question. See, whatever was discussed in today's session, I just made myself clear, is a level 1 or 2. It is a bit advanced for either level 1 or level 2. It is a bit advanced. See, in level 2, while clearing our level 2 exam, we had to do some things that I discussed today, but more or less, but most of it have very practical presentation, practical application in our day-to-day activities. I didn't limit today's discussion on for with level 1 or level 2. If you want to get for level, are you preparing, ma'am, for level 1 or level 2? The one who raised the question.
One, sir.
Level 1. You can, Ekta ma'am, yes. You can just go to our channel. We have a few videos for level 1. We have a few videos on level 1. Okay. And you can just go through them. But unfortunately, as just Nirupama ma'am told us earlier, generally we do programs in Bengali because we are the first uh, from the state of West Bengal, from the state of West Bengal, to clear this levels 1 and 2 and become Google certified educators. There are 3 of us. Nirupama ma'am is also with us, but from the state of West Bengal, we are 3 of us, and we generally have prepare those videos in Bengali language only. But still,
all my videos you will be getting in English.
Nirupama ma'am has a few videos. Ma'am, why don't you upload them in our channel? Or
Okay, yeah. So, ma'am,
why
where
don't you
is the
upload them in
class?
our channel?
we had just recently finished 20 hours of training sessions for Google certified level, educators level 1 exam. We have a classroom also. If you want, I can add you in the classroom, all the recordings and all the assignments, study materials. Means as a student, like a student, you can have full-fledged preparation and quizzes, mock tests, everything.
Yes.
Okay. So you can, so are you part of our group? No. So if you can just send me.
Nirmo ma'am, why don't you add her to our WhatsApp group?
I think she's there, no, ma'am. Are you there?
XLM is there in the WhatsApp
Yes,
group?
ma'am. Actually, I got this link from one of the GEG groups. That
GG,
is.
yeah, Delhi West, I have put this.
Yes. GG L1 cohort group 1. I got this message from that group.
Okay.
Okay.
Cohort 1, that was our group, no? So I think you might be there in our classroom then.
Yes, I'm there in your classroom, ma'am. Actually, I'm there. And I have also completed many of the tests which you have already posted there,
Okay.
as well as the quizzes.
Okay. Okay, then you are in right track. You can clear level 1 exam.
Yes.
Okay. To be more confident, I had joined this one also just to gain my own confidence.
Yes.
Yeah, because see, any session you learn something. That is what my feeling. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So that is we can take, we may be knowing n number of things, but n plus 1. That thing we can learn from any session.
Exactly. All of us are learning. Every day we are learning.
Yes.
I just learned one formula. I was just discussing a bit earlier, a few moments ago with Shushmita ma'am, founder leader. I just found. It was there perhaps, but I was never aware of it. I just found the formula that I used today. I just found it while trying to prepare for today's session. I was also not aware of it. I just found it. I just tried. Okay, let me see whether this works, and it worked out brilliantly. It worked out.
And
And
any technology.
every day we are learning every day, ma'am. We are learning every day.
So one of my, when I was preparing for level 1, so I received training from somebody. He used to say, you can learn many things by trial and error. So that
Yes.
is that really, you can say hit my things.
And before I wind up today's session, it will be very bad of me if I don't thank Madam Sonia Agarwal and Madam Reshma Honap, because Reshma Honap ma'am helped me a lot preparing this portion that I discussed today. I was facing a huge problem while working with the data set, and I reached her, and Reshma ma'am introduced me to one gentleman from Colombia, and he helped me out with this. And if I don't thank them, that will be very bad on my part. Let me thank you once more, Rishma ma'am. You made this session possible. You guided me. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you once. Thank you.
Otherwise, Reshna ma'am has lots of contribution for all of us.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yes. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Good night.
Good night.